Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen J Lotus, Pimp Sun Kiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, with a pick a card, okay? And this is a part of the Memories series. So be sure to tune into the playlist labeled Memories and make sure that y'all caught up. Now for this one, I will be doing a pick a card on muscle memory specifically. And just to give a brief explanation and elaboration on what we speaking on. Muscle memory is the ability to repeat and or reproduce a particular movement without conscious thoughts, acquired as a result of frequent repetition of that movement. So an example of this can come through like dancing or being a dancer. And therefore, you do routines over and over and over and over and over again to a point where if it's a dance that you learned and did it over and over and over again so much when you were like 5 years old, you may still remember that exact dance. What memories that represents your body. Okay? So, for instance, has its own memories. Some people walk with punches in their back, right? And you're more prone to lock what appears to be memories if they even in your stood up straight. That you have that can be a reflection of being one way or another. And or just like your brain sort of can form memories, trauma concerning to those memories, making you feel they were good or bad, making you your feel body can also lock small as a result of being attached to it, whether it's something that was repeated over and over again that you either liked or disliked. Understanding that a strong sense of either or, between like or dislike, good or bad, a strong sense of it represents a passion for it, one way or another. Therefore, you will be attached to it. So anything you have strong feelings for, you have a higher chance of becoming attached to it. Therefore, remembering it to a T. So back to the dance analogy, it can be a dance that you really like to do. And that's why you remember it. And when you do it joyfully and da-da-da-da-da-da. You still remember it to a T from front to back or that. But this can also happen if it's a dance that you disliked. Okay? A routine that you didn't like so much that got on your nerves. After having done it so much so and having such a strong sense of dislike for it, your mind and your body locked in the memory of it to be able to do it without thinking, without fear. Okay? Okay. Another slight example is you can be used to furniture in your house being arranged a certain way and taking those specific routes throughout your house and throughout your spaces. You won't even realize, you won't even realize that you're moving about your space around a bunch of different objects mindlessly without hurting yourself because your body has locked in the memory of where everything is placed. Therefore, you don't have to look down at your feet when you walk and shit. House and never. If your furniture has been sitting away for a long time and then you shift your furniture, you run a higher risk for at least the first couple of days or maybe even weeks or whatever, that furniture is rearranged. You might just walk into it. You might just stub your toe more often, hit your knee on something, you know what I'm saying, that you didn't before because your muscle memory is still stuck on the way that things once were. So, while I gave quite specific analogies, that sensation and that experience can apply to a multitude of different things, including what you were raised up in your household, in your family in general, patterns in relationships, patterns in love, patterns in church, patterns at school, patterns at work, okay? So remember I said that whatever you have a strong feeling about, that strong feeling makes you more vulnerable to attachment. And a lot of the times it's feelings that you really can't turn off. You just have to find a different way to use them, right? Now, all that to say, we solidify the concept that these feelings come before the memory. Therefore, the feelings combined with the experience, the circumstance, the subject at hand are what come together to create the memory. Therefore, like parents to a child, the memory could not exist without the feelings and the circumstance that triggered the feelings. And I intentionally say triggered the feelings because what is in you comes out. It takes a circumstance. So if the feelings were never there in the first place, they would not have been brought out by the circumstance. There may be certain feelings that you didn't know you had, but a circumstance can make you aware of them, literally boil them to the top. Now, bringing that dance analogy back and expounding upon it, you may not have liked the routine, right? The one that you remember. And again, this is an analogy. You might not be a dancer. The dance is simple, okay? But let's say the dance that you remember from your childhood that you can recall to a T to this day, you disliked it. And that's a part of why you remember it. Now, you may dislike the dance, the routine itself. But somewhere in there, somewhere in you, for you to commit to repeating it over and over and over and over and over again, that shows that you have some form of attachment or passion or care, commitment to dance itself. So learning a dance and or a routine, despite the fact that you dislike it, is a means to an end. Now, tying that into the parental symbolism of it all, you may have a parent that you love to life, but you don't like the shit that they do. You strongly do not like the shit that they do. So you remember it like a mug. And because you have an attachment to it, you end up repeating that type of dynamic over and over and over and over and over again. So you end up attracting and therefore being attracted to people who put you in positions to be disgusted a lot of the time, to be in a constant tug and pull a lot of the time. You might end up at a lot of jobs, or a job in particular that you feel some form of attachment to, that also gives you these feelings of, damn, I hate this shit. Oh, I can't stand this shit. I appreciate the job, but oh, I can't stand these folks. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like that. And Spirit is coming through to say that sometimes you have to just make the executive decision for yourself to do a new dance. Snap out of it and allow yourself to create new memories. Because your muscle memory, your physicality, and how you posture yourself, how you arrange yourself is a reflection of how well you're processing not only your emotions, but the experiences that you've been through and the memories that they created. It ends up showing up in your body one way or another. For example, people who grew up being bullied and abused may hunch over more, posture themselves in a way where they shrink themselves more. If you felt freedom in your outside places, such as being outside playing with friends, going to school, you felt free to be yourself, but when you at home and around your parents, you are more silent. You're not as outgoing. You're not as free-spirited functioning and things of that nature. You feel a need to posture yourself in a manner that makes you more docile and more of a fragmented version of yourself. If you grew up with people always talking about your teeth or talking about your facial looks and things of that nature, you may have a mindless habit of covering your mouth when you smile, or not wanting to smile much, and or not wanting to look people in the eye, or being hyper focused on double, triple, quadruple checking every single thing about your face and about your physical appearance to make sure that you look a certain way, specifically to prevent people from pointing out little imperfections and flaws about you. It's a billion ways that muscle memory can show up in your body, both good and bad. But what I would be asking Spirit on for this reading is, what muscle memories are blocking you all from progressing and evolving and manifesting the divine purpose and divine design that you are wanting and needing for yourself in this lifetime, honey? Because physicality also includes action. So whatever traumatic memories you have stored in your body, it can prevent you from taking the proper actions that you need to take in order to do what you really want and need to do. Want so bad, therefore you need to do it. So while that was an elaborate explanation, I feel like there were indeed some channeled messages that came on through in the midst of the explanation and elaboration. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and get into the different grooves. Now we're going to switch up the way we do this pick a card. Just in the ways of where I'm going to give y'all a few things to go by on how you should choose your group. Now, definitely use your own sense of discernment and choose how best for you. I'm just offering, for those who may need it, some little footprint type trailing clues, if you will, that can help you better clarify what your higher self and your divine realm is guiding you towards, which group that is. And or if it's more than one group, you can do that too, child. So what you can use is an angel number method by peeping out the timestamps that I will have in the comments, such as group 1 at this timestamp, group 2 at the next timestamp, group 3 at another timestamp, and observe the numbers, the synchronicity of the numbers, the addition of all the numbers together and what number come out the more you add it, all of that. However you do your angel number work, you can use the timestamps to choose your group. You can also use what color you are resonating with out of the 3 that I name, which are blue for group 1, orange for group 2, and red for group 3. I repeat, blue for group 1, orange for group 2, and red for group 3. And you can even use a combination of the 2 methods, such as if you look at the timestamp for group 1 and you feel like you resonate with that angel number synchronicity, but then you also feel like you resonate highly with the color blue at the same time, that can be extra confirmation that that's where spirit wants you to go. That's the group that spirit likely wants you to choose. Now, without further ado, let's get into the specificities of these cards. Group 1, hello there. So the channeled color for this group was blue. So this is likely coming through with some messages surrounding the throat chakra. So there may be some toxic muscle memories, some traumatic muscle memories that will come up and be talked about in this group concerning using your voice, communicating, valuing your truth, validating your own truth, and being confident in speaking it. So that being said, some of y'all may hold tension in your neck and or tension in your throat one way or another. You may often feel a need that you have to like readjust your joint, as in pop your neck quite a bit. You may experience soreness there. You may have had a pattern of getting crooks in your neck, as we say down here. You got a crook in your neck, okay? You may have a habit of sleeping wrong that creates tension in your neck and around your shoulders, things of that nature. I'm also picking up that someone or some people may experience quite a bit of heartburn as a result of like an inflammation manifesting from withholding a truth. Hearing like sparing somebody, you feel like you've been sparing somebody on not exposing them or not calling them out on their BS, but somehow it's causing a manifestation of heartburns. I'm also hearing palpitations. So that's given that some people's throat chakra is polluting their heart chakra. So withholding truths that are divinely designed to be said. And not only could it be having a terrible effect on your relationships, your perception of love, your ability to give and receive love, and also perceive other people's opinions and perceiving your own opinions and things of that nature. And it could also be like you having such a toxic muscle memory in your throat that is causing a manifestation of, like I said, inflammation in your chest, heart problems, things going on, such as like ailment type things potentially going on in your heart space, in your chest area. I'm also hearing feeling blue, and then I got an image of sadness from Inside Out. So some people may have some issues, some people in this group specifically may have some issues with loneliness, with feeling blue. And outside of loneliness, having some sort of issue with processing sadness, expressing sadness, honoring and respecting your sadnesses and things of that nature. And I'm also hearing the song, Blue Moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. And that is given that for some of you, true love is meant to be, and it's also coming in, and it's also growing stronger if you already in a relationship type shit. So for those of you that are in a relationship, you've probably been feeling like lately that some things seem off, like it seems like you need to fix something or like brush up on something. Like you may feel like your mate used to do something that you liked and they haven't been doing it lately as much. Or you may feel like it's something that you used to do for your mate that you haven't been doing as much, and you feeling like you need to get back on it because it's having an effect on y'all's, you know, connection, intimacy, understanding of each other, satisfaction, all that. And Spirit is saying for y'all that definitely if you notice that something that you could get better at, take that also as recognition further recognition and confirmation that you truly love the person that you with. Otherwise, you wouldn't go out your way to try to learn a new dance and or do an old dance that you just forgot you knew how to do. But you still know how to do it. You just got to make the decision to get back in it. So with that, I'm hearing that for some of you, the two of you had been like just really focused on work, building money, building other relationships, and not like in a cheating sense. I'm not picking up on cheating, of course. It's coming through about, you know, true love building, okay? So yeah, this is not a cheating situation. This is more so like remembering your individuality, who you are outside of your relationship, your romantic relationship, that is. It doesn't necessarily mean being a totally different person depending on who you're being around. It's just, you know, you don't put all of your eggs into one basket because you're a multi-dimensional person. So you aren't just a girlfriend, you aren't just a wife, you aren't just a boyfriend, you aren't just a husband. You also have a job that you do. You have a business that you run. You have your mama or your daddy or, you know, other friends, you know, your friend group, all of that. Things to tend to, other people that you spend time with and enjoy and have different forms of love with, you know. All of that makes you whole, and it can also help your romantic relationship. And a lot of people forget that. They get into relationships, and child, this may be a channel message for some of you as well. Some people get into relationships and they're so focused on building and maintaining their romantic relationship that they forget to tend to their friends, the relationships they have with their friends, spending time with their friends. They forget their siblings and, you know, other family members that they may be close to in favor that they used to spend more time with before they got into a romantic relationship. And that's not good, because that can have negative effects on your romantic relationship. Your other relationships falling apart or having issues can take an effect on your romantic relationship. Because someone may start to feel trapped. You may start to feel like you don't have permission to, you know, prioritize time with your other people, and that's something to be evaluated. Again, that could be a muscle memory in this case. You may have been in past relationships that had a dynamic like a prison, i.e. you may have been in abusive relationships in the past, or controlling relationships in the past that made you feel like you could not hang with other people besides your mate, or you're always being accused of something if you go hang with your friends or whatever, what have you. But also, you could have had a pattern in the past of just getting too consumed by the bond that you and your mate had in the past, or your mates of the past, your exes or whatever, that you got so lost in the sauce, you neglected your other friendships, and you lost those friendships. And then when the relationship was over, you didn't have no friends. So you didn't even have nobody to like help you heal type shit. You just out here. And that could also be feeding into that loneliness for some of you. And those of you where Spirit is saying, you know, true love is growing in your relationship, and you may have felt like your mate has been not as present as you would like them to be, or as you're used to them being before. That's about to shift. They're becoming aware of, like, okay, it's time for me to get back to my baby and, you know, do what I need to do for her, make sure she's well taken care of, make sure he's well taken care of in other ways. Okay, I'm at a good place in my finances and in my work stuff and all of this and that, my other relationships, where, okay, now it's time to get back to this priority, okay, and start replenishing. So those of you that are in relationships in this group, romantic relationships, that resonate with the song Blue Moon, your love is trying to come through, okay? The love frequency with y'all, and the true love frequency specifically, okay? Fearless type of love, a shameless type of love, is trying to come through for y'all. There are just some muscle memories that have to be unpacked and shifted in order for that to happen sooner than later, and also efficiently. Just remembering also that we still have free will, which means that something can be meant and divinely designed for you, but if you don't do what you need to do to get it, then it could just linger there, and you run a high risk of being miserable for the rest of your life and feeling unfulfilled and unsatisfied, you know? And for those who are single, again, true love frequency is rising. Y'all have somebody that y'all are meant to be divinely united with in a romantic sense. Y'all just have some muscle memories from heartbreak, stuff like that, that is blocking your frequency of receiving, okay? And The last channel message coming through for the channel blue at this moment in this intro before we get to the cards. By way of some of you having things going on that's blocking your frequency of receiving, I hear clean your room, clean your car out, clear clutter out of different spaces in your home and in your car. And I also hear for some of you or someone, help your significant other clean their home space. And it's not to say that, you know, anybody's home is like dirty or anything. You may have a muscle memory, a habit of having like a couch or something in your room or in your living room that you just habitually throw clothes on. If you can't think of nowhere at the time and you don't feel like thinking of nowhere at the time, and this could be some ADHD shit as well, but you just like trying to get it out the way and you just got a habit of constantly throwing clothes on this one couch. And so the clutter may be organized, but it's clutter nonetheless. Find something to do with them clothes. Okay? Hang them up. Give them the Goodwill. Burn them, whatever what have you. Find something to do with them clothes, because couches are for sitting. Okay? Laying, lounging. Okay? Some people have certain couches that they use for decoration, if you will. Okay? But regardless of what you fit in with that stuff that you got a habit of just, you know, throwing a specific set of stuff in a place that's really not where it should be, you may need to shift the shit. You may need to shift the shit, you know? Because it can be playing a part in not only reflecting a deeper issue, but also blocking your frequency of receiving. Now, we're going to get on into the specificities of the cards. Again, what toxic muscle memories are blocking group one's manifestations, progress, and evolutions of such? And the first card that we have here is the Five of Pentacles. So right off the backs, I'm hearing someone or some people were either kicked out of the house as teenagers or maybe even a little younger. And or for some of you, you may have actually ran away. I'm also picking up some people when they were young adults or as they are young adults. Like I'm picking up like some early 20s type memories of constantly having to run away or find an escape from something, having to hurry up and think on your feet in order to get away from something or someone and to something else, to prevent yourself from being homeless, prevent yourself from being abused, prevent yourself from whatever it is that you are running from and escaping from. And this kicked off not only attracting and being attracted to situations that continuously put you in that position, but then at a certain point, perhaps at a certain point, some of you gained the opportunity to be still, but you just kept finding reasons to move, just kept finding reasons to leave. I'm hearing that this has happened for some people with home spaces and for some people with jobs. I'm also hearing that for some people, there's too much shit shifting, such as you may have been living in the same home for a good while, but you won't stop rearranging the furniture. So there's a muscle memory there of feeling the need to be in a constant state of movement for the sake of escape and or avoidance. And I'm picking up some instances of trauma concerning financial abuse. So I'm picking up somebody's parent used to use their child support checks on themselves. Like they didn't use it on you, the child at the time. They used it on themselves. Some of you that made a promise to like put it in an account for you and then give it to you when you turn like 18 or something, and they reneged on that. They did not do that. It was all a lie. It was all a lie. I'm picking up some things where some people's parents forced them to do whatever they needed to do to get money and wouldn't let them back in the house until they had money. And or making you pay bills at a young age. And also, I'm hearing some people's parents, I've heard of a lot of people do this, but it's coming through with this card and with this message with this group, that for some of you, your parents may have had bills or types of insurance or credit cards or something of the sort in your name when you were a kid, and it messed up your credit. And what's keeping you in that cycle, in that financial turmoil, is honestly the fact that the truth that you may be withholding that's contributing to toxic muscle memory and potentially ailments is, you know, possibly having to dime out your parent, you know, quote unquote snitch on your parents, and or just call them out and address the situation to let spirit know that y'all are on one accord to balance the scales of karma, you know, so that divine interventions can happen to help you get out of that debt, to help you fix your credit and things of that nature. And so that whoever deserves it, you know, whoever deserves the opposite end of it, that's just, you know, what God decided. All that being said, there's a need for the collective of this group to release Stockholm Syndrome, release adorning, if you will, towards people who abused you. Because from that Stockholm Syndrome and adorning of people who abused you is causing you to mindlessly claim possession of those people who abused you and therefore protect them from their accountability. And you continue a cycle of abusing yourself one way or another. And one of those ways that's coming up is some of you may overwork yourself, always at work. And this is coming from a place of fear. And this can come from some of you having first gotten a job to get out of the house so that you can leave the house and or just be at home for lesser time than you ordinarily would have to be. Somebody at home was like disturbing your peace, so you got a job. They was either disturbing your peace or making you feel unsafe, whichever would have you. So you got a job so that you can spend more time at work than you do at home with that person. And this is developed into a habit of that. Also, being raised to be a work mule for some of you. Again, parents potentially making you pay bills at a young age or just putting you out the house and not letting you come back until you have money. Being in those constant states of running from something or trying to escape someone or something. Still functioning in a muscle memory of like, if I don't do it, no one will. Taking on too much. Like just overworking yourself out of fear of losing control. Because somewhere you're not trusting yourself to basically take care of yourself without being abused or abusing yourself, self-harming yourself by not allowing yourself to rest and enjoy other things. And the Five of Pentacles is often about someone or some people being ostracized from a particular group, home, shelter, church, job, whatever, what have you, just being ostracized and rejected by whatever you're coming from or whatever you want to be accepted by and let in for refuge, community, and all of that. But it also represents that there is a village for you closer than you think. So Spirit is saying, don't allow this one group of people, even if you came from them, or that's all you know at the time, don't let that defeat you and stop you from seeking your true village, because you have a true village that is full of true love in a multitude of different ways. And it would be a shame to stunt yourself from being able to experience that after everything that you've been through and after all the work that you have put in more ways than physical. And overall, like I said, regardless of which particular tier you fall into, or if I didn't like specifically code your specific experiences, the feelings of ostracization, I think I'm saying it right, but the feelings and experiences of being ostracized, kicked out, ran off, feeling like you have to escape, being hyper independent out of fear, stuff like that. All of those feelings and the memories that you may have attached to them specifically, something that can help unblock and decode and shift this habit of feeling away and therefore taking yourself through the same experiences and actions and same routine, bodily, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, over and over again. Something that can help that. Well, that Spirit is saying Loki Haki has to happen one way or another, is for you all to release the need and desire to protect the people that abused you. It needs to be channeled into a strategic, creative, and or legal exposure of your memories, your experience, the things that they did. Some of you may be meant to write more, get started writing books. Some of you may be meant to, like I said, press charges, hold people legally accountable for their wrongdoings. Some of y'all may need to just pray and ask God for discernment for the time and the place to just blurt it out, to just call them out. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Release that energy into the ether and let God do what they do. So one way or another, your divine realm is ready to do what needs to be done and acts on your behalf concerning trespasses against you, wrongdoings against you, betrayals, abuse, and all of that. But you have a specific divine purpose within all of that, within the co-collaboration of freeing yourself unto your divine purpose and divine design, by giving the situation unto God, by speaking it into the ether one way or another. Because the truth that you are withholding is also allowing other people to experience the darkness of what you experienced. And essentially it is given that a lot of you are chosen ones to free other people by speaking your truth. And by not doing so, we lead over into the Emperor card that is here, which lends towards the hyper-independence while also limiting your potential. So a lot of you are thinking that hyper-independence is giving you a validated sense of being a leader, being a boss, achievement, but you're still not satisfied. And this is because you're accepting small fries. You are doing what you think is easy, even though it has a large detrimental cost as a result of it all. So for instance, some people do the most, work themselves to the bone, take their jobs super serious because they're actually afraid to do anything bigger. For example, you may be a manager at Walmart, but you have the potential to own a Walmart. But because you're so used to having to just take what you can get and be satisfied with something that's good in comparison to what you had, you're not prioritizing and thinking about and valuing the bigger possibilities that you could accomplish. And so you end up using that job as a validator of your worth, even without realizing it, because you're depriving yourself of acknowledging the possibilities and acknowledging your own potential and validating it by pursuing it. Therefore, functioning on a desperate frequency, a fear of losing. And if you are desperately functioning out of fear of losing, then it's highly likely that you won't put yourself in positions to truly win in an abundant sense. So this Emperor card is getting into control freak nature out of PTSD and fear of loss. And as a result of this, those of you who have positions of authority in any way, I'm picking up some parents, I'm picking up some people who are managers at their job or supervisors of some sort at their job. I'm picking up teachers, people like that, whatever position of authority you may have. And or if you communicate with people and you simply try to speak with authority about a boundary or something you feel or whatever to certain people that you have relationships with, and it seems like it's just not resonating. Outside of some people just being assholes and you got to find somebody else to talk to, the lot of you may be having issues with transferring your firmness and that you mean what you say and say what you mean, because you're withholding and avoiding important truths that have a lot to do with who you really are, your identity, your morals and values, what you stand for, what you're passionate about, and your true desires for your life. So there are people that are not receiving what you're saying because they're not taking you serious, because deep down you aren't serious. You can't be serious because you're not telling the truth about something, and that is causing a domino effect of distortion all the way around. Distortion and a lack of self-awareness. And a lot of you likely have been walking into stuff, tripping and falling, stubbing your toe, breaking nails, slamming your finger in doors, bumping your head, stuff like that. A lot of you probably have been doing a lot of that lately. And those are physical manifestations of this hyper avoidance that's been going on with you all. So you're needing to slow down. You're needing to take time out for more introspection. Y'all's toxic muscle memory is overactiveness. It's being at a constant go, 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 go. Gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta move here, gotta move there. And for some of you, it's coming from a place of what you think someone else expects you to do. Picking up someone or some people in a relationship, and this is going back to the losing individuality within a relationship, because you feel like you have to support your mate efficiently, and that efficiency that you're thinking you're doing and supporting them is a bit excessive. And I know that may sound crazy, but what that means is your life may be becoming consumed with their passion. You're doing so much to support their passion and make sure you make it to all of their events, their family gatherings, and all of this and that. You're trying to make sure that you're there for every single thing that they do from big to small. And that's causing you to forget and or feel some form of resentment or missing of a part of yourself, because all your energy is going into supporting someone else's passion, and it's becoming you living vicariously through them. And if not already, it can get to a point of you resenting them because you feel like you gave up too much of yourself. So I'm hearing, trust the fact that you're a supportive, loving person, and don't try to overcompensate for any potential insecurity of that. I'm hearing you may have some muscle memory of functioning that way as a result of people constantly telling you that you're selfish. You're always doing something for yourself. You always got something going on, and you're missing what we got going on over here. Da, 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 da. And now you've internalized it, and or have been internalizing it to, well, it's something bad to focus on your passion, to prioritize yourself, because you have so many memories and experiences of people shaming you for prioritizing yourself and pursuing your passions, pursuing your divine purpose and all of that. So establishing balance of the priorities, which leads us perfectly into the last card, which is the Oracle card here. And it's tying into that Emperor card by way of the fact of, for those of you that may be losing yourself in your romantic relationship or in a relationship because you're giving so much to somebody else's passion and therefore neglecting your own and neglecting yourself. For some of y'all that's in that category, this is coming from a socialized male-female type thing, gender roles. Things being poured into you at young ages concerning what you're supposed to do as a man and what you're supposed to do as a woman. So somebody is, and I'm picking up like some male or masculine energy here. Somebody is being hyper financially supportive, investing too much money in a connection, in a relationship, and you're not really getting you're not receiving it back. It's not being reciprocated back to you, or you're not getting back a return of substance from your investment. And this may be something that you have a habit of doing overtly as a trauma response and muscle memory of trying to overcompensate and prove that you are selfless. However, it's blocking your frequency of receiving because you're not giving other people space to give to you or to even know what you really like, because you put so much of the focus on them and or other people, so much so that your identity gets lost in the sauce. And for some of you, there are people that think you just like everything that they like because that's what you indulge in more. You don't take time out to show what you really like, what you really like to do. And if you would do more of that, people who truly care about you will support you by showing up and showing out for the things and with the things that you truly like. But some of you have to even figure out what that is. Like, what do you truly like outside of trauma, it being a trauma response or something, or being good in comparison to something else? What do you like straight up just because that's what you like? Some of you may even discover that you don't like nothing that you've been doing and nothing that you've been supporting other people doing. You just been doing it because you're trying to satisfy other people and satisfy this toxic voice in your head that is calling you a selfish person. Or saying that you need to do the most to prove your worth and your capabilities to somebody else, when you need to be being for yourself. Because that is the only way that you can efficiently be what you need and want to be for other people. Okay? And what they need and want for you to be. Those that are worth your time, effort, and energy, that is. Okay? So you have to get more clear about yourself and what you have to offer beyond the physicality in order to get clear about who is really for you. Because being in a constant state of overcompensating to prove something about yourself can blind you to the fact that some people may either just be straight up using you, and or they only like to be around you for what you do for them. Now, another side of this oracle card, and it's from the past life oracle, by the way. This is a male-female card, and it is sideways. So again, I mentioned the stuff about the gender role. Some people needing to unpack and evolve their mindset concerning what gender is, who they are as a woman, who they are as a man, what their feminine energy is all about, what their masculine energy is all about, because both men and women have masculine and feminine energy. And we need for those to be harmonized, you know, no matter what gender or sex we present with the most, okay? Or identify with the most. We need to have peace with both our masculine and feminine. And what's happening here is that a lot of you need to heal your masculine energy, and that's why more rest needs to be prioritized, as well as more comforting motion. I'm hearing somebody needs to go to a chiropractor, somebody needs to invest in getting a massage. Also, instead of working out vigorously all the time, this is for some people, take what resonates, but for some of y'all, instead of working out all the time, like vigorously running, biking, lifting weights, all of that, y'all need to do yoga, okay? Stretch more, make sure that you're stretching and all of that, because that can help heal your masculine energy as well. And your masculine energy may be wounded from a place of feeling unprotected. And while it can entail daddy issues, even if your father was in your life and they did everything they could for you and all of that, your masculine energy can still be wounded because, like I said, it's an energy. And masculine energy entails feelings of protection in any sense, discipline, stability, money, activeness in any sense. So, like I said, even if your father or your parents or whatever did everything they absolutely could do for you, any situation that put you in a position and made you feel like you had to fight for your life, or literally put you in position to fight for your life, to fight for your livelihood, your home, things that contribute to your survival and your quality and quantity of survival. Anything that disrupts that can wound your masculine energy. Sexual abuse of any sort can also wound your masculine energy because it may cause a distrust with you, with yourself, that you are not able to use your masculine energy to defend yourself efficiently as you feel like you should have, or as other people told you should have in that moment. Even if you're not mindful of it, your subconscious may have or be holding and storing anger and or distrust or sadness towards your masculine energy because you feel like you can't trust it to come through for you when you need it to. Or you've had so many of those experiences where you felt like you couldn't trust your masculine energy to work for you how you needed it to, and you feel like it put you in different positions, all of that. So yeah, I need to heal the masculine energy and indulge in the feminine. So this is something that Spirit is saying here that can help y'all learn a new dance. Not only balance, you're balancing, you need to balance your masculine and feminine energy for the purpose of learning new dances to help you get closer and closer and achieve your divinely designed things, your true abundance, your true love, okay? All that. Your true village, all that. And it is giving a lot of parental wounds here, a lot of village wounds, being severely wounded and betrayed and abused by either your parents and or just other people that were supposed to be a village or some form of authority, some form of guardian or protector to you. And a lot of you are needing to expose them, call them out, create projects of some sort to tell your story and potentially help other people. And also free yourself from the shackles of silence, and don't give up hope. Your village is either already around you and you just in a muscle memory of having no village, so you're not allowing yourself to recognize that and embrace that. A lot of you have true love that is already around you and or on the way and or strengthening. You just needing to shift that muscle memory so that you can further recognize and embrace what is present and help to unblock your frequency of receiving, which is the feminine. Feminine energy receives, masculine energy gives. Okay, so with healing your masculine energy, you got to stop over giving. You got to stop over giving of gifts, stop over giving money, stop over giving time, stop over giving energy. Okay, give, be generous, but know when to stop and allow yourself to go through what you need to go through and create new memories so that you can better decipher and discern who is worth what you have to give. And give because you truly feel like the person deserves it. You truly feel like you want to give it to them. Don't just give it to them because you want to try to prove something. Give to put true feelings and true passion into action, not just to overcompensate lack or to overly try to prove yourself to get some form of external validation back. Allow yourself to go within, pause, process your emotions, specifically surrounding fear and sadness. Because if you truly want to experience happiness, you're going to have to allow yourself to acknowledge, process, and release sadness. And it don't mean that you won't ever be sad again, but you will have the tools and discernment to know when you need to pause in retrospect and release something in order to bring in what you're trying to get, making room for what you want. And there's a lot of sadness that needs to be cleared out. And there's a lot of fear that needs to be cleared out as well. So you need to also explore fear, your relationship with fear, how you identify with fear, and release it, express it. Allow yourself to honor that so that you can clear that space for courage and therefore get up to the victory and the success that you want and that you're meant to have. And it really goes back to y'all loving yourselves unconditionally, loving yourself despite what other people have had to say about you, loving yourself despite how other people have treated you, recognizing that how they've treated you says more about themselves than it does you. And also that you don't need to talk down on yourself or beat yourself up because you experience sadness or because you've experienced loss, because you've experienced trauma of any sort. Love yourself unconditionally. Just because you have fears, it doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It also makes you whole. And so just because your parent may have hit you and you start crying and they say, stop crying before I give you something else to cry about, that don't mean you have to continuously beat yourself and cuss yourself out whenever you cry. They did that to you, but you don't have to do that to yourself. Just because people may have talked down on you or teased you for getting consumed by fear in certain moments doesn't mean that you have to continue to do that to yourself. You have permission and need to give yourself permission to speak life into yourself regardless of what's going on, and to take a stop and really look at yourself and embrace your beauty as a whole. And while beauty is beautiful, you can't have beauty without some hints of quote unquote ugliness, right? Cute is one thing, but beauty is an amalgamation of the duality of darkness and light, prettiness and ugliness coming together and making an evolved form that is worth supreme admiration and adoration. And that can help raise your frequency of gratitude overall, which again will help your frequency of receiving, because the divine realm will trust you and your higher self will trust you more with your divine designs and divine abundance. Because if you're having a hard time recognizing things to be grateful for, then you're not going to treat what you have like it's worth anything. So the divine realm will be skeptical about giving you more, because they don't want you to compromise your karma by destroying and misusing and abusing and neglecting God's gift. And don't just think of God as an external force. Also recognize the God within you. The two co-collaborate. So as much as it is quote unquote God's gift, it is also your gift. But you have to be in tune with your internal God in order to truly recognize it and attract it. Now be careful not to develop a God complex, okay? Because that's something different. But y'all, I hope all of that resonated and made sense. And I hope that you're able to use what you can to do a new dance. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry. And I'm thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly qualities for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in always light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah. Greetings, group 2. What muscle memory is blocking you all from your progress and your evolutions? And I ain't gonna waste no time. Gonna get right into the specificities of these cards. So we have the 9 of Wands in reverse. Instantly, I'm hearing you all have gotten too comfortable. And there is compassion and understanding coming through from spirit concerning the fact that you have been through a lot. You've dealt with a lot of people coming at your neck for little to no reason. Sometimes having a reason, but it's like even when they've had reasons to come at you, they just go way too hard and way too far. And I'm seeing that come with some feelings of like, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck. And exactly, having so many instances of conflict, so many endless, seemingly endless cycles of just conflict, meaningless conflict. Like feeling like somebody always want to fight you or come at you with a problem or some hypercriticism of some sort. Just feeling like nobody around you or anything around you was able to be satisfied with you. Like somebody's always looking for something to quote unquote fix about you, and or like I said, critique or attack about you. And having so many of these instances put you in a mindset of, fuck it, what am I trying so hard for? I'm just gonna let it go. I'm not even finna argue. I'm just gonna file back, duck off. I'm not even fixing to, you know, go through these applications right now. I'm just gonna take a step back because it is just wearing me thin at this point to keep trying so hard and not like get anywhere for real. Constantly trying to prove yourself in different ways and be proactive, like have authority over yourself and be responsible for bringing your own dreams into fruition, and just feeling like you're constantly swimming against the tide with no good reason as to why. Like I know I'm not perfect, but I know I'm great at the same time. So why are my friends not reflecting that? Why is my mate not reflecting that? Why is my money not reflecting that? Why are my circumstances not reflecting my greatness that I know I am and possess? And Spirit is saying that they put you in those positions in the past so that you could have proof and recognition of the fighter in you. And so that when you get to points of feeling defeated or less than, or, you know, broken of some sort, or, you know, paralyzed in some way, you have memories that, again, act as proof of who you are and what you're capable of. And Spirit is also saying that just because you've kind of fallen back from that and you kind of taken a good break from a lot of things and a lot of people, it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you lazy. That was also a show of love for yourself, to know when to fold them. You gotta know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. Yes, okay? And so, in recognizing and exercising the fighter in you, you now know that there are different ways of fighting yourself, which can be to surrender, as is coming up that many of you did. You surrendered. You fell back. You stopped windmilling excessively and learned that sometimes there is tons of strength in just walking away and waving the white flag and finding something better to do and something better to fight for. And in this period of fall back, you have gained clearer perspective on the time and the place to fight, and the time and the place to just remove yourself from a situation, and what is worth it to you to fight for in different ways. And I'm hearing that this is going towards, for a lot of you, career stuff, and also I'm picking up hobby stuff. So I'm picking up some people who are pretty good and solid in their career, but they feel like they exhausted themselves at a point and they just had to like really, I'm hearing somebody quit their job, or somebody went ahead and used up their paid time off type shit, went ahead and took a long vacation of sorts, things of that nature. And it's for the purpose of reestablishing your enjoyment, your sense of pleasure, and your identity that is outside of your obligatory roles. Because I'm hearing that for y'all, it was very much so like too much work and not enough play. So y'all had to duck off and get you some playtime in. And for some of y'all, this is concerning romantic relationships. I'm hearing the song by LaToya Luckett called Lazy. Right now, my heart's a little lazy. I'm tired of opening up, tired of caring. I don't feel like loving you. Y'all ain't felt like loving nobody for a good while. And I'm picking up that this is coming from having like a pattern of toxic relationships, and you just got burnt out and just decided that you needed to really fall back. For some people, have a whole phase. And for some people, just fall back and learn who you are outside of relationships. And for some people, learn who you are all over again, because I'm hearing that some people literally were in something so deep and toxic and crazy that they literally got lost in the sauce of the relationship and just looked up one day and was like, who am I? Where am I? Who did it? And what for? And collectively, Spirit is saying that that was divinely designed. Y'all made the right decision to fall back, you know, re-individualize yourself, have your hermit mode, have your whole phase, okay? Spirit is saying that that was divinely designed. You were on the right track with that. Howsoever, now, and this is for like across the board, whether you resonated with the career stuff, you resonated with the family and upbringing stuff, the relationship stuff, wherever you fall into those resonations of categories, even if it's all of them, okay? Spirit is saying that now it's time to shake the table. It's time to come up out of that comfort zone now and get yourself back into the game. And this is going to be a period that helps y'all integrate work and play, integrate fight and flight, get balanced, and build your trust in yourself as it concerns stability. Overall, knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them. It's time to come up out the comfort zone, do some applications, and I'm seeing like, you know, vision board type stuff. You can even do this type stuff on Pinterest and such, but just really creatively, like, make it fun, okay? Creatively organize a plan and like a list of needs and desires for the type of job that you want, and consider and prioritize around your self-care, your hobbies, your playtime, you know, vacation times, going out on the weekends with the girls or the guys, all that type stuff. Prioritize your job around your leisure and, you know, just other things that are actually obligatory, even though they bring pleasure, such as self-care, massages, working out, stuff like that. We're not taught and encouraged so much that those things are obligatory, but they are for our greater quality and quantity of life. They are a balance of entertainment and also for survival. The quality of survival specifically, and like I said, it can also contribute to your quantity of survival. So yeah. And again, this will be out of a comfort zone because we are conditioned that we're supposed to prioritize everything else around work. But in actuality, you need to prioritize your work around your leisure. And of course, not only your leisure, but also your leisure. You should also prioritize your work surrounding what you need for the sake of financial stability. And this will also entail what you're spending your money on, even outside of bills and gas. You claim that you want a house and you want your house to look this, that, and the third way. Think about and educate yourself on how much those types of things cost. Also, if you can find more affordable versions that still have the same great quality and beauty. Okay, I'm talking decor, furniture, all that, carpets, rugs, tile, okay, hardwood, roofs, all that. Educate yourself on how much that stuff will cost and have faith in your process as well, because I know like these types of processes can be overwhelming. And going through this process may bring up some anxiety and or PTSD tendencies where you feeling like, oh, I'm about to go back into exhaustion. But don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Take it piece by piece. Don't think that you have to accomplish every single thing or have every single thing figured out in one day. It's a process. And the more you trust the process and commit to the process and use your creativity to make the process more enjoyable and fun and creative, the better things will go. And you'll effortlessly release your grasp on the outcome, which can also help the abundance be that much more by the time you get to the accomplishment, okay? And that also goes into prioritizing your budget around your self-care, massages, chiropractic, also different forms of health and wellness, you know, not just going to the doctor every year, but also like seeing a dermatologist, seeing different doctors, if you will, practitioners and things that specialize in different elements of health and wellness. I'm also hearing that someone may be planning for a baby soon, and Spirit wants to encourage you to not only go to, you know, your standard medical doctor, but that you may also want to have a doula, one who specifically specializes in hearing some form of African spiritual based practice of the 9-month process of carrying a child and also bringing them into the world and getting them settled into the world peacefully and stably when they are born. And they will also be able to help you with your recovery process as well, and coming from a more spiritual place. And this is also going into the integration element, raising your frequency of integration, because you're not being overly dependent on just one form of something. You're also using the other side, bringing together logic and science with creativity and spirituality. Okay, and a multitude of different ways. Even if you aren't planning for a baby, and all of that, making a baby and all of that is on the frequency of creation. So these messages that have been coming out have been geared towards creation and creativity, creating things, materializing things, okay, that reflect who you are, who you want to be, what you want to say, and what you want to say it for, your intent and motivation for the greater good without sacrificing yourself excessively. Which also means making sure that you're good, stable, and protected so that you can be more charitable in a multitude of different ways without feeling like you've gut pitted yourself. And that is going to segue us perfectly into the Two of Pentacles in reverse, because I am hearing and feeling that some of you used to be overly charitable to people in a materialistic way. So meaning you overly gave of money, you overly gave of space, potentially in your home or in your car or in your body. I'm hearing someone overly gave of clothes, like always letting people borrow clothes and then they never bring them back, and then you look up and you only got like 3 outfits left in your closet compared to what you had before. So with that, Spirit is saying that just because you have a lot doesn't mean that you give it all away. Understand that your blessings are yours. They're yours to share, but they're yours. And you only need to share what you have to share. So for another instance, somebody asks you for $20, or specifically if you have $20 and you got $25. So yes, you got $20, but you don't really have $20 to give like that, because you need gas, you got to get yourself something to eat, and depending on what type of position you in, how much you eat, where you travel, you may be having to decide if you're going to spend your money on gas or if you're going to spend your money on something to eat, okay? So, yeah, you got $20, but you don't really have it to give nobody, because if you give them that $20, then you're going to be left with $5, and then what? And Spirit is saying that a lot of you have been in positions like that before, where you really just thinking totally selflessly, and it's coming from a muscle memory trained in you. I'm picking up from childhood, teenagehood, like in your upbringing. Some people taught y'all to overly sacrifice yourself. And I'm hearing, oh, you think you so cute. You think you so rich. You think you all that. I'm hearing that type of rhetoric going on towards you and around you for a lot of your life. So much so that you have felt like you have to prove to people that you are not so up on a high horse that you won't help them. You feel like you have to prove that you're generous so that people don't think that you think you're beyond reproach, or that you're quote unquote all that. As if people have made you feel like being rich, whether in essence or material, that being confident is a bad thing, that it is a character flaw. I'm also picking that some people have been made to feel that them being smart and intelligent and an overachiever is a character flaw, that is something that you shouldn't be doing because it makes other people feel bad. And this is very specific to the financial aspect, whereas I'm picking up that a lot of you are probably the oldest children in your siblings, or you are or have been kind of treated like the oldest sibling. It's giving Terry from Soul Food, how everybody had pretty much, I guess her whole life, she'd been guilt tripped for working hard and earning her keep, that when she comes into her abundance, even still, people are making it like you're a terrible person if you don't let us mooch off of you, basically. Coming from the type of family or the type of people where if you was to win a multi-million amount of dollars today and went and bought yourself a house, they would all be on you like, I told you, look at them. They done bought themselves a house. They ain't bought us no house. Look at them. Like, can I get myself settled first, at least? Ain't nobody said I wasn't gonna do nothing for y'all, but dang. And these patterns have basically made a lot of y'all tired of being selfless and more desiring of being selfish and not fooling with people and not doing anything for people, not giving them anything, just completely hoarding everything that is everything to yourself. And again, that's where integration is coming back in, so that you can not only budget your money, but also budget your energy and completely divest your energy, time, and money in some things and some people. Divest meaning take it back. So you're going to be needing to trust yourself to know that you are capable of discerning when a situation or person or place or people are truly deserving and worthy, and you have it to spare to give, and being able to discern when something is not worth it and something is just not for you to be investing in. Spirit is saying that they know your heart, and you know, especially at this point, that you are a generous person at heart, that you do consider people in your plans and in your successes, that you don't always just be doing stuff just for how it's going to benefit you. You think about the betterment of the entire picture. And that's a part of your divine purpose here, which is why you've been taken through so many tests and cycles and things, for you to just gain more knowledge and strength and trust in yourself concerning knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them, balancing out, taking care of yourself shamelessly and unapologetically, and also fighting for yourself and standing up for yourself, and knowing when it's appropriate and safe to be charitable. This Two of Coins in reverse is also pointing towards you kind of being tunnel visioned in a way where it seems like you've become so much of a fish in water when it comes to, I'm hearing people talking crazy to you. So it's like you've developed such a muscle memory of sponging up ridicule and hypercriticism and hypocriticism that it gets to a point of you just like kind of tuning it out and or accepting it as just a part of a relationship or a part of dealing with people. And Spirit is saying that you don't have to put up with it, and you're not meant to put up with it. So be mindful of how people have talked to you in the past and how people have been talking to you lately, how people will be talking to you in the future, because the things that people will be saying to you specifically may be a lot of air signs and or a lot of fire signs in this group that I'm picking up. But Spirit sends you a lot of clues for your discernment through the things that people say to you. And a lot of you have probably heard and experienced people trying to gaslight you a lot, acting like what you picking up on in their communication, you just tripping, you just reading too much into it, you being sensitive, and Spirit is letting you know, no. And you've been peeping lately like, nah, I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping. At this point, I don't watch this play out over and over and over and over and over and over again to a point where I know I ain't tripping because I've been here before. So with that, start really planning and organizing some social settings that will allow you to have a great time and also network in the process. So be sure to like search and be on the lookout. I know they have like a lot of event news and stuff like that on different social medias where it be like pages that talk about everything that's going on in town, everything you can do this week, everything there is to do, you know, the different things and industries that it caters to. Wine dinner gonna be over here, it's an art museum over there, you know, stuff like that. Things where people are there to have a good time and also be educated and also make money and or create avenues and connections for the sake of making money and building their brands. And in this, again, will be another form of integration where you will be essentially healing your heart chakra as well as strengthening your third eye chakra when it comes to discernment and forming connections. And you will also be building towards your finances, your career, your longevity of money and the material elements of abundance. Because again, it's a part of you all's divine purpose to be charitable. It's a part of your spiritual set. Like God put it in y'all specifically, group 2, that it's meant for y'all to be charitable. Therefore, it's meant for y'all to be abundant, to have long money, to have generational wealth, to have monuments of organizations and facilities that not only you are passionate about and not only that caters to people's needs and desires, but also that helps other people make money and make a living and build in so many more different ways while they're investing in you, creating endless mutual exchanges of wealth and health. And I'm hearing that some of you are meant to trailblaze an avenue that puts a real big dent in capitalism. Because like I said, a lot of businesses and business practices that exist are parasitic, where they act like, you know, they're passionate about the consumer, but in actuality it's just for them to make a load of money, and a lot of the times they're stingy with it. You know, and so some of you are meant to create some sort of business that is not just big business, but that actually helps your consumers while they're helping you. Somehow they be able to make money or benefit from some sort of barter system that actually gives them more access to different people and different avenues of doing things that just essentially make their lives easier. And Spirit is not allowing me to put my finger on exactly what to call these different things. It's going to be something that will likely, especially being the fact that y'all are in a state and a phase of building upon your discernment, your third eye. So Spirit is likely wanting y'all to latch on to the thoughts that come up when I say things of that nature. And, you know, any other keywords that come up, if I'm not being the utmost specific about it, it's likely for Spirit to tap on your third eye and get you to learn how to listen to yourself and to your intuition. And what your higher self is telling you, hey, this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is what we're passionate about. This is what we're fixing to create. And those things can roll in bit by bit over time. Because it could just be, you know, you starting off going to these social events and networking and doing all this in the third, and in the process, and you end up discovering and or just like being reminded of some other avenue or industry that you felt like you would really be interested in and really be good at. And that be the start to you being like, ah, this is what I'm supposed to be groundbreaking on. This is the industry that I'm meant to change the game in. And for some of you, it could be multiple industries, but I am picking up, there are some people in this group that's meant to trailblaze and groundbreak some industries and disrupt the fuck out of capitalism specifically. And I'm hearing that this would be like a very humanitarian practice, even if it's not like literally a food service. Like how they have, oh my gosh, HelloFresh. This is an example. The business HelloFresh that has a subscription-based thing where you pay so much a month and they send you groceries and food that you can cook and stuff like that. Stuff like that helps hunger, excessive hunger, and also excessive waste. And I know they got like some health options and stuff like that. I ain't never had it, so I don't know like what the quality is, but that's beside the point. Some of you may get into building a business that is like HelloFresh. And or I'm also picking up that could be like Uber and Lyft and stuff like that. And those particular industries can be considered like humanitarian, if you will, because it services things like food, helps cut costs, services transportation, things that people really need for the better quality and quantity of survival. Also picking up people doing bed and breakfasts and or boarding houses of some sort. And I'm mentioning all of that not only to give some specificity and resonation with the message, but it's also kind of a means to an end for me to also clarify that while humanitarian-based jobs are being picked up, there's a huge emphasis here on the theme of like thinking outside the box and doing something totally different. So while some people may literally get into those humanitarian themed industries and actually trailblaze and groundbreak the practice to be more humanitarian-esque and not done in such a capitalistic way that becomes, you know, a glorified version of a scam. Some of you may be going towards industries that are on the surface not humanitarian themed or based. Like, for instance, opening a strip club. Like, a lot of people don't think of that or wouldn't think of that as a humanitarian themed or based job. But there are some of you that may get into that, and the way that you do your practice of business will have humanitarian basis and a humanitarian way of going about things. And with the strip club element, you will be able to come up with ways to help the girls make more money and have their talents be better appreciated and respected as well. And also coming up with a multitude of different methods to help protect the girls and have it be less of a competition driven industry. You know, there'll be competitiveness regardless, because that's how dancers are. But something about that, because I am picking up on some specific things, like somebody may really end up opening a strip club and changing the game on the practices, really being like on some Uncle Clifford shit, but better. Where, yeah, you own the club and you run the club and you the boss and this and that, but you're actually handling your employees more like family. You're actually showing true care for what's going on with them outside of the job. They're not just show ponies to you. You are picking up on when girls are going through domestic violence and you're helping them find shelter. You're helping them find ways out. You are. And I'm also seeing like potentially already having facilitated some organizations and connections to different facilitators of protection and help to get people out of debt, to, like I said, get people out of abusive situations, get them insurance, car insurance, health insurance, all of that, just forming much more protection and benefits to people who are strippers or have any sort of sex work job, a job that's just seen as not really top notch, seen as bottom of the barrel. Why they make so much money? They ain't doing no real work. Or things where they can are often easily abused and unprotected. And this can also roll over into construction businesses as well, where someone may open a construction business and facilitate an environment that takes care of the employees in a better way and protects them in a better way, gives them more benefits, all that. It's giving, even though it's impossible to satisfy everybody, y'all are going towards a path where y'all will create something where for the people that are your audience and your consumer base, your employees and shit, you will more than likely be able to satisfy everybody, at least mostly everybody. And let me be clear. Like I said, it's often impossible to satisfy everybody. So don't think I'm saying you destined for perfection, because perfection is a myth, okay? But what you create will have a high chance of satisfying everybody that is for you. That's for your shit. And therefore, like been said before, having a better sense of discernment concerning who is truly your audience, who is truly your village, and who ain't. And that's not to say that you'll be beyond reproach or beyond criticism or anything, because that's how we constantly get better and evolve. So there's definitely an element of your discernment getting better and better and betterer to a point of being able to recognize what is actual authentic constructive criticism versus someone being hypercritical and or a hater. And now all this is segueing into the biblical card in reverse, and this is a past life card. Now this is coming out, Spirit is saying that y'all still have quite a bit of wounds from spiritual and or religious abuse, and or just being around a lot of people in a lot of environments that seem to have a resistance towards spirituality. I'm hearing spirituality specifically. And you could even fit into both of those categories. Whereas there's been religious abuse due to the fact that it's always been recognizable that you're more of a spiritual person. So potentially experiencing a lot of ostracization from religious people. And I am picking up on someone or some people having dealt with being ostracized from a particular group and or kicked out of a church or embarrassed and humiliated or abused in some way in a church by church people because you got pregnant as a teenager or something of the sort, or people found out you had sex some type of way. One way or another, there's some people here like that, quote unquote, made one false move, like made one mistake, got caught up in some shit. I'm hearing even somebody got abused in a church and was victim blamed for it severely and was punished for violations committed against them, or basically punished for being victimized. I laugh at that because though it's definitely some real shit, it's absolutely maniacal that victim blaming is even a thing. But it is, so child, it's something to be dealt with. It's something that needs to be intensively attended to. Okay, need some extra tender love and care in that department as it concerns the spiritual relationship with your higher self, your shadow self, and with your external sense of God and your internal sense of God. And again, integrating the two. Okay, now there's another side of this, and I'm picking up that this is for a smaller group within this group, or it could even be for just one person. But I'm picking up somebody comes from like a legacy of gangbangers, and it seems to be between black gangs and or Hispanic gangs and or both. And this is giving me some historical messages on top of what is playing at present and how you're supposed to use this, and or how God and your higher self is meant to use it with you. Okay, so if you did not know, perhaps you do. Anywho, I'm gonna get straight to the point. Gangs today are known as local terrorists, if you will. They have all of these like standards and values of sort, but it's heavily contradicted by the types of crimes that are carried out and the way certain dynamics are formed and carried out, and a lot of abuse a lot of the time, and at times can be quite cultish even. I'm picking up that for those of you that this is resonating for, you've recognized that. And I'm also picking up there's people who were Christian and or are Christian and a part of a church, or you're a part of some quote unquote diehard religion of sorts, and lately you've been recognizing some of the toxicity of the practices. Okay, so the gangbangerism and the religious aspect made a parallel there. So I'm gonna continue. Long time ago, these groups were not for that. They were activist groups, humanitarian groups, you know, meant to form community and village that facilitates peace, love, and happiness. But also, we will get on your ass if we have to. If you come for us, we don't have to drag you out in the street, okay? You hit me, I'm knocking you the fuck out. I ain't gonna come over there starting with you. I'm gonna be over here minding my business, eat, pray, loving and shit. But if you come over here, we're gonna have problems. Those types of things started off like that, to create healthy and well-rounded community for targeted people. So I'm picking up that somebody is about to work their way out of a gang-like, cult-like type of situation and use their experience, knowledge, and wisdom to create something that upholds and uplifts the good things about where you're coming from, but that drastically changes in positive ways for the better all of the messed up stuff of where you're coming from. So overall, the muscle memory that y'all are releasing is surrounding being overly laxed and being overly comfortable, snapping out of severe rest mode, snapping out of hibernation. Okay, it's time to shake the table, get back in the game, and there'll be plenty of times where you can rest and have fun and be creative and do your thing, the total leisure of it all. Okay, and it'll be properly balanced with you doing your disciplinary things, because you in spirit, should you allow yourself, should you allow spirit, will co-collaborate in creating this for yourself, which could lead you into helping other people do that for themselves as well. Also releasing a muscle memory surrounding normalizing bad behavior. Normalizing bad behavior, verbal abuse, underhanded, backhand compliments, jokes, quote unquote, that are really insults and attacks at your self-esteem. You're releasing muscle memory surrounding normalizing that type of behavior as part of relationships, or as that's just what people who love you do. No. There are ways to crack jokes and have a sense of humor in your relationships. It should not be at the expense of your self-esteem and self-image. There's also an aspect of releasing the muscle memory surrounding always being on edge and prepared to fight. So balancing out when something is actual danger and when you're just triggered. Balancing out when it's a time to stand up for what you believe in and a time to defend yourself, and when is it a time to walk away and just remove yourself from the situation and the environment altogether. And with releasing the muscle memory surrounding spiritual and religious abuse, there seems to be some physical and sexual abuse mixed up in there as well. So you're needing to do, I'm gonna leave a link in the comments to what it is when you go through this process to literally purge your body of spiritual wounds from being having your body violated in any type of way, whether it's somebody hitting you or, you know, the worst of the worst assists. And so that also makes sense as to why it came up about bringing together medical health practices with spiritual health practices, because for some of you, there may be some physical bodily elements. And of course, this video is about muscle memory. So some of the inflammation that people experience and bodily ailments, soreness, arthritis, sometimes fibroids, cysts, stuff like that, cancer, stuff like that, can be physical manifestations brought on from your muscles' memory of abuse, attacks, violations of many forms. And it being stored in your body for so long with no release ends up allowing it to manifest into medical issues. And despite biases being a real thing, there is also a thing of where sometimes some people could be going to the doctor over and over and over and over and over again, and the doctors can't figure out what's wrong. And a lot of the times they're unable to figure out what's wrong because they are taught to be completely logical and scientific about it, to not make decisions and prognosis and things of that nature from a place of spirituality. And sometimes the issue is spiritual. So they can't connect with that if that's not in their training and in their practice. So you may need a holistic doctor to approach the situation. And I am going to do another pick a card surrounding what you can do and how you can heal and work out all of these things that have been mentioned. This video is just specifically to focus on what the issues are that need to be gotten out the way. And then, like I said, we'll get into how to get them out the way, more of how to get them out the way. But doing it like this first gives y'all the opportunity to take it in and process it for yourself, take proactive initiatives to do your own research, figure it out for yourself first, and then I come back and fill in the blanks and collab with your third eye and all that. And so, all of that being considered, it seems like a lot of y'all's muscle memory resonations in the literal physical sense seem to be happening concerning health and wellness. So, like I was mentioning the different types of doctors earlier, I'm picking up people that probably having skin problems, rashes, allergies, reoccurrent sinus infections, reoccurrent testing positive for COVID, reoccurrent tonsillitis, just a bunch of reoccurrent stuff, reoccurrent inflammation, reoccurrent surgeries, reoccurrent getting prescribed for hella medicines for a ton of shit. So yeah, it seems like a lot of y'all's muscle memories, the toxic muscle memories that are needing to be released, is showing up as it concerns y'all's health and wellness specifically. And I'm also picking up, with that being said, I'm also picking up like people with high blood pressure, people having a hard time losing weight, specifically in their stomach area. Somebody feeling like they've been working out and working out and working out, and everything else, it's like your stamina is building and everything else is shaping up how you would like it, but your stomach is not, you know, making much progress or as much progress as you think it should or as you would like it to. And I'm picking up the fact that your cortisol levels may be high from stress and or holding on to a lot of trauma in your stomach. And that would also tie into your solar plexus, which surrounds the self-esteem, happiness, confidence, courage, anger, and all of that. Your solar plexus may be polluted and wounded, essentially, and inflamed because you're holding on to a lot of maybe self-esteem issues, anger issues, self-image, self-worth, confidence, courage issues in your stomach, one way or another. And so that PTSD of it all triggers a lot of stress, which heightens your cortisol levels, imbalances your hormones, and You could also even be holding a lot of tension in your stomach, which could cause your intestines to hold on to things. So physically manifesting like constipation and or a lot of trapped gas and trapped fecal matter by way of you holding, mindlessly even, holding so much tension in your stomach area. So just a recommendation, suggestion from me. Like I said, we'll get into the how-tos in another video, but just real quick for y'all, you might want to get some dandelion root tea and or raspberry leaf tea. Dandelion for a detox, helping with digestion. You can also get ginger for that. And raspberry leaf is good for your hormones. A multitude of other things, but specifically balancing your hormones, and it can also help with iron. So those two things may be something that you can ingest, and perhaps it may help you in your workout journey and help you purge all those toxins out your stomach. Y'all may even want to do a fast, and a type of fast that may help y'all could be for like 3 to 4 days in a week. Can be consecutively, or you can just start off every other day, but don't drink anything don't eat anything solid too much for the entire day. Only ingest apple lemon juice, as in fresh squeezed apple lemon juice, no sugar added, none of that. Just drink that all day. And if you do eat something, let it be like a little bit of brown rice, some vegetables, maybe an egg, some peanut butter, some beans, stuff like that. So, you know, you can get your bit of protein, you know, the grains that you need, so that you're not depriving yourself, but you're helping your digestive system and your whole stomach system rest, while also regenerate so it can purge galore. And also releasing water weights in the process as well. And for those of you that feel like, I'm hearing like you're trying to snap back after having a baby and the stomach area has been a difficult focus, which is totally understandable. And Spirit is saying something that would help for those of you that's in that category, like dealing with the postpartum stomach issue. Spirit is saying you need to spiritually and mindfully and emotionally reclaim and re-individualize your body. So doing like a meditation regimen and or a yoga regimen and or a massage regimen. Can even put it into your workout regimen. Different positive affirmations to remind your mind, body, and soul that you are an individual, your own individual outside of being a mom, and that your life is valuable and worthy of being protected and savored outside of you just making sure you're alive and thriving for the sake of your kids. Because even though it's great to be motivated by your kids, extra motivated by your kids, and wanting to, you know, make sure you're always showing them the best example and making sure that you're alive to see them through everything that they'll need and desire you to see them through. I'm hearing that it's also needing to be emphasized to you, and you needing to emphasize to yourself that your life is valuable within itself, and you can love yourself in extra manners to the illest degree just to love yourself. Establish a foundation where you are doing more considering yourself outside of your titles and what you can do for other people or what you have to do for other people. Because even though they're your kids, they're still other people. They're still external beings. And you have to make sure that you're loving yourself because you need and desire to love yourself. Not just so that you can be great for your kids. You got to do it for yourself too. And I'm hearing that I also help you get better at establishing boundaries in general, and also teaching your kids what boundaries are and how boundaries are a part of self-love and self-protection. Giving them a good example of being generous and being loving and giving and all of that in general, but also knowing when to stop, knowing where to draw the line, and knowing what you will and won't go for. And finally, as I said before, other muscle memories that are needing to be released is concerning a legacy of some sort that's been attached to some gangbangery and or cult-like type of functionality and dynamics. And that freeing yourself from that type of dynamic and cycles and patterns of sort, and helping other people free themselves, is paralleling with an overall theme for the collective and what seems to be divine purpose for the collective to establish new organizations, environments, businesses, whatever what have you, that are dedicated to being more humanitarian and less primal and capitalism based. And child, I hope I was able to make all of that make sense and transfer the necessary divinely designed and aligned energy. And I hope that you're able to use it to the best of your abilities and intents. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry. And I'm thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quotas for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah. What's the haps on the craps group 3? So y'all chose group 3, which means that y'all also chose the color red, which is associated with the root chakra, which entails foundation, stability, grounding, activeness, masculinity, finances, all that. And with that, I'm picking up that there needs to be some peace and integration made in y'all's root chakra with y'all's sacral chakra. So y'all's root and sacral chakra are needing to become better friends, essentially. And the best way to elaborate upon that is to get into the specificities of these cards. Now, what muscle memory is blocking you all from progressing and evolving? And the first card that we have here is the Devil in reverse. So with that being said, and it is the color red, the Devil in reverse is giving that a muscle memory that y'all are needing to release that has been blocking y'all from progress has to do with some form of guilt surrounding, it's giving survivor's remorse, is also giving like some form of guilt being left behind from cutting people off that you knew you need to cut off and ending certain habits that you knew you needed to end. For some people, you may have quit or lost a job and you know in your soul that it was for the best, it's what you needed to do, it's what you had to do, and it is making you as opposed to breaking you, but at the same time there's just still some like residual emotions left behind and seem to be surrounding guilt specifically. Also hearing and feeling that there is a lot of temptation surrounding y'all as a result of that. Temptation to go backwards, temptation to hit up and interact with people that you cut off, to try to rebuild some bridges, and spirit is saying no. Okay, so there's some muscle memory surrounding, I'm hearing going back and forth in with people in situations a lot. Some people or someone is having a hard time with the concept of forgiving people without allowing them back into your life. And also accepting, like I'm hearing, when people show you who they are, believe them. And I'm hearing that for some of you, a lot of you, you've had a person or people show you over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And there's been this muscle memory of making excuses for them, constantly giving them the benefit of the doubt, constantly showing them grace to a fault. And spirit keeps trying to show you and impress upon you, make it very clear to you that you have grown out of this pattern. You've grown out of them. So some of you may find this person or people to have been like the person that you had the most fun with, or, you know, an environment or whatever that you had the most fun in. Like somewhere, I'm just picking up that the sensation of fun is in association with this person, these people, or this environment that you've cut off. And spirit is saying that some of you have yet to realize and or you're having a hard time accepting that those things are actually no longer fun for you. They're draining of you, and or you may actually feel apathetic to it, but you still have a attachment to it in a way, because there seems to be like this nostalgia craving and or something that feels like boredom perhaps. And it could be a situation where it's a form of peace that you're not exactly used to, so you're perceiving it as boredom, but it's actually peace. So there's a little bit of self-saboteur going on here as well. And again, that could be also associated with survivor's remorse. So there's some form of conditioning that has been put into a lot of y'all to have a muscle memory of giving people grace to a fault, making excuses for their behavior, and allowing them unconditional access to you. And understanding that you can unconditionally love people, and like I said, you can forgive people without having to allow them access to you and access back into your life, your time, space, and place. And so that's also where, especially if y'all are associating the feeling of fun and enjoyment and excitement and celebration with these people, persons, or things, that is where y'all's root chakra and your sacral chakra is needing to make peace, because you cut these people off, or you needed to cut these people off to protect yourself. But at the same time feeling like, oh, well, that's no fun. That's fucked up. What am I going to do now? And so then having this resistance to sticking to it for the sake of your protection. All the while, some of you not realizing that these people that you're associating with fun and celebration and all of that are people who really don't have a desire to celebrate you. They are actually saboteurs of your frequency of enjoyment and more than likely keep you or have kept you on a lower frequency of functioning. But since your spirit has been inevitably evolving, you're not in alignment with it anymore. So it's like, in simple terms, y'all have a muscle memory of giving people too many chances, and that's blocking y'all's progress because everybody is not meant to go with you. It's the age-old saying, everybody is not meant to go with you into your next levels of evolution. But also, I'm picking up that for a lot of you, this is a toxic teaching that was put upon you by one or both of your parents to basically accept and give grace to a fault, to their bad behavior, so that you always are attached to them. And this is a toxic manipulation, and honestly it's mental, emotionally, and spiritually abusive as well. Whether they mindfully did it or not, it was abusive, and it is abusive, and it's to keep you attached to them no matter what, and to always be able to walk in and out of your life no matter how many times they disrespect you, basically putting it in your mind that they are entitled to disrespecting you. And you just have to let them back in. So people having a pattern of keeping you on a string, weaponizing their role and their position in your life. So therefore, when you cut people off or when you remove yourself from certain situations, you have this guilt upon you that was impressed upon you, likely from your parents or your guardians, elders in your life, whatever what have you, that guilt trips you at a very young age to say that if you separate yourself, you wrong. So it's like you've been in a habit of carrying around baseless guilt, which has been polluting your root chakra as well as blocking your sacral chakra. And I'm hearing that you all are now in a process of reestablishing your own bases, your own foundations, your own grounding regimens, morals, and values for yourself, which perfectly segues us to the next card, which is the Three of Wands, signifying that you're going through a very tedious step-by-step process. However, in certain ways, this might feel a bit chaotic for y'all because the muscle memory being spoken upon here has to do with step-by-step processes. I'm hearing for some of you literally having a pattern of always having someone or maybe even society itself tell you this is how things are supposed to be. This is what you have to do. This first, this second, this third, da-da-da. As opposed to divinity and the new process and journey and path that you all are on. It's very specific and very precise, though divinely designed. And I am picking up that a lot of you are being guided and embraced right now by a very strong divine feminine presence, which gives Queen of Wands. I'm hearing Ashera. I'm also hearing Sekhmet. Okay. I'm hearing Hathor, though that seems to be more of a support element, not to downplay Hathor at all. It's just the functionality in your specific process. Hathor is more so a support system, and that makes sense with the presence of Sekhmet. So all of that being said, you have some very divine feminine presences around you, not only guiding you and propelling you forth on a new path, but they are also carrying out some karma for you. So trying to bring in rewards for you and also acting on your behalf as it concerns people who have wronged you, which is why you're needing to press forward, move forward, don't look back. Because if you go back to interacting with certain people and energies that you know for a fact you need to cut off cold turkey and leave them behind in the dust, you may end up being hit by their karma and or recompromising your own karma by trying to save them from karma that they're getting by way of betraying you. And that's not to say that karma is a punishment system, because it's not a punishment system. It's simply you put out a certain energy and it's a boomerang. It comes back to you. So certain people have given you terrible energy, have dished out to you very low vibrational energy, whether you are plainly aware of it or not. So if you go back to these people and start being a light and a crutch and a support system and all this and that for them, you will end up being wrapped up in their shit. So this is reiterating and elaborating upon the survivor's remorse, guilt tripping yourself into going backwards, going back and get people and all of that, sabotaging yourself from moving forward and coming into your greater awards and rewards. So also with that, some of you have been stuck in a money chasing frequency, heavily, excessively prioritizing get the money, get the money, get the bag, get the bag, get the bag. And as much as that can be understandable, as it is also probably from a form of trauma response and being overly logic and overly real in an earthly sense, such as giving way too much attention and energy to the physicality of it all. Spirit is saying that you're thinking small. Like, I keep hearing hustling backwards, thinking that you only have to be one way, not realizing that your heart space is not only about love, but it's also about money. So a key thing to attracting abundance, even in the form of money, and knowing what to do with your money and having large sums of money flowing in a longevity sense, and also maintaining it in a longevity sense, has a lot to do with the balance of your heart space and your understanding and indulging in spirituality and your emotions, your heart space. So again, it's giving overly active, having this muscle memory of being overly active, overly physical. I'm hearing avoidance, potentially having a consistency of taking on jobs and responsibilities of some sort so that you can avoid someone or something, some thoughts, feelings of sort. And then also just being, and this may sound crazy, overly active in trying to manifest and materialize what you're trying to manifest and materialize. Meaning not giving yourself time to rest, not giving God the space to co-collaborate with you, and therefore damaging your frequency of receiving, blocking yourself from receiving rewards, receiving love and embrace and quality time and appreciation from other people, as well as from the universe. So a lot of people are thinking that they are working so hard every night and day, and now we get to play back. Try so hard saving up the paper, now we get to play back. Okay, that is Gwen Stefani Luxury. Might want to go give it a listen. But that came through to say that the hustle mentality is no longer serving you. Okay, because it's too much work, it's too active, it's too much doing and not enough being, to a point where some of you, or a lot of you, have probably lost sight of your core motivation from your higher self. They ask me what I do and who I do it for. That type shit. Like, who are you doing it for? Why? What is the message you're trying to send? What is the legacy that you are trying to leave behind? And again, why? Your reason, not anybody else's reason, but yours. And Spirit is saying that's a large part of this phase that you're in life, this very specific, divinely designed phase where you're going through different monumental yet seemingly small and simple experiences for you to learn more about yourself and your own core thoughts and opinions, morals and values, so that you can get more intentional and spiritual about what you're doing. And to be even more sure of yourself that you're not being puppeteered by someone else. Because what seems to be going on with a lot of you is that you've been mentally manipulated and emotionally and spiritually manipulated and abused and things of that nature for so long that you have the voice of people who have manipulated and abused you wedged and crafted in your psyche so deep that it becomes a part of your conscience and or your subconscious, to where it's literally a muscle memory of just doing what people expect out of you. And this segues us to the last card, which is Monk or Nun, and it's from the Past Life Oracle. So this is giving a consistency of being pigeonholed, and it's in alignment with the consistency of how spiritual abuse has come up from the rooter to the tutor of y'all's reading. So that deep spiritual abuse, however it's come, however it's happened and has gotten wedged into your psyche and functionality, it's in your muscle memory. And this is getting into the resistance of multi-dimensionality and being so stuck in just trying to be one thing, not realizing that you are dual, you are multi-dimensional, you are flexible, you are agile, you are multifaceted. You don't have to just be good. You're a dual individual, which means that your happiness, your smile, your words of encouragement are valuable, yes, but your anger, your will to stand up for yourself, your Ace of Swords energy of cutting people out, sometimes cussing people out, is also valuable, because it's a time and a place for everything. So you need not demonize yourself for standing up for yourself. You need not demonize yourself for coming out your face sometimes and telling people what it is and what it's going to be. You need not demonize yourself for having sexual desires and sexual fantasies. You need not demonize yourself for being sexually liberated and or sometimes or at certain points in your life having been sexually promiscuous. It's okay. It all comes together to make you a whole, well-rounded being. And it's about how you use those experiences and your intent behind your being. And in simple terms, this seems like a muscle memory surrounding shame, having a bad habit of shaming yourself as a result of being shamed. And this may come from people coming up around people who are super duper judgmental. I'm also hearing that for some people, coming up around people who would judge you for sleeping past 6 a.m., would judge you for sleeping until noon and things of that nature, having a very master-slave mentality around certain things, feeling like if you're sitting down relaxing, you're lazy. You're not doing enough. You don't have no motivation in life. You sorry. You're a terrible individual because you're sitting down just minding your business, just being. It's giving not having enough space and or permission, quote unquote, to make mistakes. So it seems like now a lot of you don't give yourself space or permission to make mistakes, and therefore to process failure, to process mistakes, to process imperfections and flaws. You just try to like hurry up and move past it and do the most to prevent it. And that's not kosher. That's getting in the way of your quality of life. And it's also getting in the way of you coming upon and stepping into and embracing fully your divine purpose. And I'm hearing you're not meant to be a slave. You're not meant to be a slave. You are meant to be taken care of. And you have to start with taking care of yourself by allowing yourself to embrace your imperfections and loving yourself unconditionally. Yes, acknowledge your limitations, acknowledge your mistakes, but continue to speak nice to yourself and treat yourself nice, even when you're imperfect and flawed. And to elaborate specifically with some examples, a lot of times adults with kids, you may have a routine of taking your kid to get ice cream when their report card comes back good. But if their report card comes back bad, they don't get ice cream. And that can be kosher, where it shows like, you know, cause, effect, reward, consequence, whatever, what have you. But there's certain ways that we do that to ourselves that are completely unhealthy. So for instance, the ice cream analogy can be healthy because ice cream is seen as a privilege. It's not really nutritious, so it's not something you need. It's more of a desire. But then you have some people that will starve their kids for not doing good on their report card, or they will beat their kids for not doing good on their report card, which is unhealthy. Because eating when you're hungry, when your body is telling you that you need food to survive, to have a good quality and quantity of life, and someone deprives you of that, that is traumatic. Someone being physically violent with you is traumatic, especially if it's not coming because you hit them first and they're defending themselves. You know, that is traumatic. But either way, physical violence is traumatic. And I know that it is normalized a lot of the time for a lot of people. But beating your kids is traumatic. It doesn't matter the reason. It doesn't really matter the time or the place. It's traumatic, and it instills anger as well as fear in them. And it teaches them that it's a time and a place to be abusive, and it's a time and a place to be abused. Therefore, it's unhealthy, because it also teaches them that if I get mad, if someone upsets me, no matter what it is, I must hit them. Even though there are a billion ways that you can deal with your issues outside of violence. So when you do that, you teach your child that when you get upset, you hit. Okay? Now, I'm saying all that to say, because either of those things may resonate with some of you concerning your upbringing, and or the feelings that come with it, the trauma that comes with it, the memories and the muscle memory that comes with it may parallel for you in different ways. And therefore, based on how you were, quote unquote, reprimanded as a child, if those were toxic forms of reprimandation, you may end up doing that to yourself in different ways. So for instance, some people emotionally eat. Some people emotionally starve themselves. And people who emotionally starve themselves, not always, but this is just an example I'm giving. Some people, when they get sad or they experience betrayal or they get upset, whatever, what have you, they end up starving themselves mindlessly. It's like, you know, they lose their appetite, but it's coming from a place of someone doing that to them first, depriving them or disturbing their eating process as a form of punishment and or as a form of attack. So now, as an adult, when you get upset and when you experience imperfections of any sort, you end up losing your appetite, subconsciously punishing yourself, depriving yourself of nutrients, depriving yourself of care, of love, only tending to your quality and quantity of life conditionally, when self-love is unconditional. So some of you, when you make a mistake or you experience some form of imperfection or discomfort in your life, you start depriving yourself of enjoyment, of certain things that you need for survival. Something being repeated in your mind. I keep hearing it. I don't deserve. This happened, so I don't deserve that. That happened, so I don't deserve that. I messed up the numbers today at work, so I might as well just go home and go to sleep. And something in your subconscious is saying, because I don't deserve to enjoy the rest of my day. I don't deserve to enjoy this. I don't deserve to have that. Something in your subconscious, one way or another, whether it's specific to the examples coming up here or not, there's something in your subconscious that comes out and says, I don't deserve whenever imperfections come about. And that's a toxic muscle memory that's getting in the way of y'all's frequency of receiving specifically better things. And I'm hearing now being overly appreciative for the basics. I'm hearing settling for less, not even realizing that it's less because you keep telling yourself that you don't deserve shit. And this ends up contributing to y'all working harder and not smarter, hustling backwards, doing the most for less than what you actually deserve and are worth. And there's a lot of different ways for the lot of you that this functionality has been forced into y'all psyche. And so you're going to have to use some sort of force in order to break out of that pattern. Which means proceeding beyond the discomfort, proceeding towards better, towards lighter, past those people that you know you need to leave behind and don't look back. In those situations, anything that has removed themselves or you have removed, proceeding forward and not looking back, forcing yourself to do so, and constantly giving yourself words of encouragement in the process beyond the discomfort, forcing yourself out of the shackles, forcing yourself out of that psychological, spiritual slavery and into a more supreme sense of liberation, oneness, wholeness, and keyword, I said oneness, right? But also duality and multidimensionality in a balanced form. And get your guides. Go get it. Go get it. Go get your blessings. Yes. Go get your blessings, honey. Allow yourself to be rewarded. And allow yourself to be yourself, whoever you are, okay? If people don't like it, you being yourself. Fuck them up against the wall with handcuffs on and crazy glue on their lips. Shout out to Bernie Mac, okay? And finally, just to channel some messages about how this may be showing up in your body. I'm hearing people and seeing people, kind of feeling people having a lot of upper back pain. A lot of upper back pain, shoulder blade pain, spinal pain of some sort. Also picking up on soreness in the hips. And this may be TMI, but for some people, I'm picking up, women in particular, when you have a period, you may experience a lot of contractions or some form of aching right around the opening of your vagina. And or cervical soreness in the midst. I'm sorry, this got very graphic, but it be like that sometimes. But that's what's coming up. And this is due to holding a lot of tension in your shoulder blades, in your upper back, around your heart space. Also, okay, those things correlate. And also holding a lot of tension. And I'm picking up on sadness in your reproductive area as well as in your hips, which, surround your reproductive area. And I'm hearing in your thighs and in your buttocks, which definitely gets into the root chakra and sacral chakra healing and integration and peace being made that needs to happen. And for some people, you may have hurt your ankle recently, or you may have some ankle soreness, or your ankles may be popping a lot more lately. I'm also picking up on some people who may have been experiencing a lot of cramps in their feet and like the ball of your feet area, and or getting charley horses in the middle of the night and or early in the morning when you're getting up out of bed. And in the next installment of this saga, I will do a pick a card that goes into more about how to unclear these blockages, how to heal the trapped trauma and all of that. Basically, how to evolve beyond and release these toxic muscle memories. But this one in particular, I just wanted to focus more so on what are the issues, what are the toxic muscle memories, okay? And, give a little insight on, what you can do or, surface level of what needs to be done. But really just focusing, like I said, more so on what the issues are in this video. And that also kind of lighting a fire for yourselves to do your own proactive due diligence, to do your research and see what you can do. And then by the time I get to the next installment to talk about how to heal these things and how to release these things and clear them and evolve them out and all of that, you'll already have your own foundation. So the messages that I give on how to release it and how to heal it will have a better chance of making even more sense and having even more clarity as your own personal intuition. And the foundation of that will have more strength and more intentional presence. Now, I hope all of that made sense. I hope I was able to make it all make sense, okay? And bring forth some clarity and assistance. And I must say too, though, that this particular group, y'all's messages came out a lot more straightforward and a lot more linear, which is given that really, like, y'all are a strong group. And that's no tea, no shade to, like, anybody else, but y'all have a really, really divine purpose. It's giving chosen ones, It's giving light worker, star seed specifically, like having a balance of the two, like not just being a star worker, not just being a light child star worker, not just being a star seed and not just being a light worker, but being a star worker, being both all at the same time, which is giving, just get out of your own way. And I know that can be easier said than done, but just really make a mindful effort to set yourself free and get out of your own way. Stop beating yourself the fuck up. Stop making yourself out to yourself. Relax. God has got you. You have sowed some very good karma for yourself, and you have shown that you are willing to put forth the work and the effort to be an overachiever and all of that, to do whatever it is that you need to do to get to where you're trying to get to. But don't make yourself a slave to it, okay? Be and allow the universe to bless you. Because Spirit is saying also that while definitely you are human, and allow yourself to be human, but also allow yourself to embrace the fact that you are, quote unquote, Christ-like, okay? And don't get too wrapped up in that, because like even if you're not Christian, that's just the umbrella term that I've been given. Christ-like, Messiah-like, as in pure-hearted, pure intentional. No matter how angry you get, no matter what mistakes you make, any retaliation you've indulged in at any rate, you do so and have done so with high vibrational intents, with love and with grace. Your intent, your heart is pure, and it shows even in your imperfections. It's like, you know that you're not perfect, and you know that you've taken a lot of shit, and you also know that you're destined for greatness and that you are great, but you don't ever, it's like you have a natural ability to function righteously without getting overtly egotistical. There's just a balance that has to come in where you're not hyper humbling yourself, and to where you're not hyper punishing yourself, nor for being great or for having imperfections. And I'm also hearing it's like you want to be great, but you also want to be relatable. And Spirit is saying that you are relatable naturally, just as you are great naturally. So don't try so hard. Just be. And everything is going to make more sense real soon. I just heard that clairaudiently. Clarity is coming through for y'all real soon. What Spirit also wants me to say for some of you is that there's been something ringing off in y'all's mind for a while, that like the good die young. I'm hearing that type of phrase, that something has been put in your mindset that the good die young. And Spirit has wanted to come through to say that is a myth. That is a myth, and to not allow yourself to be imprisoned to that mindset, nor fearful and wrapped up in that mindset. You know, those can go hand in hand, but just say it in different ways, however you receive it. Don't allow yourself to get wrapped up in that type of mentality. As well as Spirit is saying that the lot of you are meant to exceed that expectation and that mentality, whereas you've gone through hell and you've created heaven on earth for other people. But now you're in the process of establishing that for yourself, which you already have with the good karma that you created, but you're about to get more intentional and more successful, if you will, more present in the process, in the knowing, in the creating of your heaven on earth. And you are meant to experience that alive in this lifetime for longevity. Y'all are meant to experience a magnificent quality and quantity of life, to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You are not meant to be a cautionary tale. You are meant to be an inspirational tale, an inspirational mark in history. Proof that you can work hard and play hard, that you can go through hell and come into your heaven on earth and live abundantly in it for a long ass time, and leave an abundance behind for other people in more ways than one. And as much as I really want to continue and elaborate further into the endless possibilities of y'all's chat, I got to listen to my intuition, and I got to listen to Spirit, and go ahead and wrap it up and not give y'all all of this at one time, because, you know, y'all got to do y'all own thing on y'all own free will, you know what I'm saying? And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry, and I'm thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe, so that you could be one of the first to be back through these queenly quarters for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your persons and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.